Back to the ML Sports Platter. I'm Mike Lindsley. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at ML Sports Platter. And a special guest, a new partner friend of the program, Optimal MD. Make sure you head on over to optimalmd.com and put in that code MLSP. We brought him in, the CEO Shawn Fry. We're going to talk some Optimal. We're going to talk some sports. You've got some great stories as well. We spent about 10 minutes chatting before the actual interview, and I was like, wait a minute, I got to hit record, save some of this. Shawn, welcome aboard, my friend. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Mike. Appreciate it.
No doubt about it. So fired up to kind of join forces with you guys here, and I want to start things out. Just people, healthcare, it's a tough time, right? I mean, it's a scary time in our country. People are overwhelmed. Inflation's crazy. Healthcare is crazy. Families, things are changing all the time. We've never been moving faster in our lives. Why is Optimal MD the solution? What is it? Get into the meat and potatoes, because this is unlike anything out there, right?
It's true. It's unlike anything. I've been in medicine for 30 years. I used to be a hospital administrator. I ran doctors' offices and imaging centers, and all those other kinds of things. It's really frustrating. Even when I was an employee of the hospital, I could get almost anything I wanted for free. I was also an athlete. And a lot of things I wanted, they were not covered by my insurance. They weren't really readily available. They were really expensive. But I wanted to keep myself in peak performance. Also, I was always managing my parents. My mom was in her 80s. My dad was in his 80s. They were sick all the time. And that was a hassle. Like the whole healthcare system's sideways. Yep. And now this particular year, there's so many people who are losing ACA subsidies, and insurance premiums are going up real high. So it just so happened that what we created with Optimal MD is a solution for a lot of that, in that you can get all the main care services you need from Optimal MD for $149 a month per family. And I'm going to get into what you can do, particularly as an athlete. So if you get this to cover some of your more traditional care, but you're an athlete yourself, you want to lose weight, you want to be whatever type of performance you want, sports performance, sexual performance, more hair, all those types of things, they're covered by Optimal MD. Absolutely. How do you get access to that?
Yeah.
Having to go spend money at every single shop, a testosterone shop, Hims, hers, all those other kind of companies, they're fine, well and good. But Optimal MD solves all those problems for one price.
I look at this as, my analogy is kind of how we stream today, right? And I remember my man Kevin came to me with this and having you on, and I started thinking about the way we live today, where, my alma mater, St. Bonaventure, just played a game in Ohio. They had a stupid streaming service. You had to pay $17 just to watch one game. Right. You've got the Thursday Amazon. You got to be an Amazon Prime member to get the Thursday football. I kept my cable, and people called me crazy. I said, I put my mobile in there. I got a year for free. I have my cable, DVR. I have all these things, and I got rid of boxes. I got a Zumo remote. It's all there for $180, and I'm watching everybody grab all these streaming things together. They're spending $20 to $30 more than me. I got my cable, kept it. And then the other stuff I get anyway because of just life and my wife's accounts and all this. However, all that I have as a consumer and the on-demand person and the large sports person I am, media, fan, call it what it is, to me, I'm almost like, that's Optimal MD. Like, you guys get it all there without having to go do what the streaming people are doing, or in the analogy of the healthcare, like, go do this in healthcare, that in healthcare, right? Like, healthcare is making you do what the streaming services are doing. You follow here? You guys combine it, easy one, and you're kind of like the Mike Lindsley's doing cable thing. Am I wrong?
That's it. I mean, liken us to Netflix. Like, I didn't, and a lot of this stuff, I'd love to tell you I was really smart, but I was a linebacker, so I'm only so smart. I did it by accident. I ended up, I was probably trying out for guard, and they realized, oh, you know what, you have a great anticipation for where the ball's going. Well, I didn't know that. Netflix is a perfect example. People used to go to Blockbuster. They love going to Blockbuster. Go in there, shop for movies, grab some popcorn, plan your night. That was actually part of the experience. And then Netflix came, and people would get their movies on DVDs, and they would have them mailed to their house. And next thing you know, you can stream all the movies you want for free. Well, this is the problem. Everybody thinks if they need to get something, if they want to get their blood work checked and they want to find out these things, they have to make a doctor's appointment, which may take a few weeks, go get their blood work. Then they find out that most of the things they want to do aren't covered by their insurance. They got to pay out of pocket for it anyway. So the time and the cost. Yeah. Well, when Netflix came, everything's available on demand. You can hop on our website and get a doctor's appointment within 15 minutes, depending on what the issue is, if it's acute care, or pick your doctor and see the doctor the next day.
Yeah.
you tell the doctor, hey, look, this is what I want to improve. With the coolest thing about Optimum D I want to express is the labs that are available. Same labs, LabCorp, Quest. We're not some, subpar, but these are the biggest lab companies in America. And you can go get all these lab tests done. So if you want to know what your hormones are, your thyroid level, liver function, muscle function, methylation, all these key things that people talk about that athletes need to know, because I was an athlete, I had no idea what was wrong with me because my doctor never ordered the tests to find out. Well, it turns out the things that make me a better athlete make me a healthier person.
Sure they do.
I'm 61 years old. I've got more vitality now than I've had since I was an athlete, just by managing these basic things.
Yeah, I'm 46 years old, and I would not mess with you. I'm telling you, I wouldn't do it. I'm 15 years younger than you. I wouldn't mess with you, man. Shawn Fry, our guest, CEO of Optimal MD. You can get started. The link is right there, optimalmd.com, and just use the code word MLSP here on the ML Sports Platter. I got a couple more for you, and then we'll get into the sports talk and some fun as well. You go to these appointments, and there's the famous, words copay. And there's, it's like for the healthcare, and some people do have good health insurance. I do, but it's not as common as it maybe used to be. And people say, oh, well, it's only $25, and then it's only $30, and then it's only $50. And all of a sudden you get 10 of those a year, and then you get 20, and then you got family, and you get this and that. Every little thing adds up. We're in an inflation kind of world. There's also like the diagnostic stuff and all those little extras that you noted. How important was it when this all kind of came to fruition that it wasn't just, hey, 1, 2, we're done. Like, we got to add this thing. We got to make it a long laundry list because everybody needs so many things today at such a big cost. Let's extend the rope a little bit here and have this be a big program that will include a lot, right? With the cost.
So I live this firsthand, both as a patient and as a hospital administrator, right? So the way insurance works is they'll pay for anything that's preventative, right? You can get your annual wellness visit, and they'll get some basic blood work, metabolic panels, things like that. It doesn't really tell you anything. It tells you if your white blood cell count, whether you have an infection, maybe your lipid panel to find out if you're high triglycerides, your cholesterol levels, things like that. They're just basic panels, but they don't really tell you anything if you want to get healthier. Anything you want to do that would help you get healthier, that's diagnostic, those are subject to deductible. Well, your deductible rates, if you say you have insurance, that's the highest possible rate you can be charged. Insurance was designed to have you not use it. That's why they have the deductibles and copays. Those weren't created by doctors. Those were created by the insurance companies. So when I build Optimal MD, what it really is a private healthcare network. We own the network. We control what's allowed, and we control what the price of it is. But we eliminated all those copays, all those deductibles, all those restrictions and barriers. So you can come in and you deal with your basic stuff, whether you have hypertension or diabetes, all those meds are covered. You can come in and say, hey, look, I want to know what my homocysteine level is because I'm worried about this type of inflammation, or my cytokine level, or micronutrient level. These are kind of things that are going to perk the ears of an athlete. You get these tests done. There's no copay, no deductible. You can talk to a doctor, and the doctor's going to order the tests. They're good for him. Yeah. Doctors want those tests. The reason why healthcare is so screwed up in the country is doctors don't have enough information to actually make good decisions. That's a real problem for everybody. Optimal MD removes those restrictions because the doctors want that information. And then they can make a better decision. And then the thing we haven't talked about yet is over 1,100 medications for that are free or substantially reduced. So all these drugs people want, minoxidil that helps grow hair is free. Cialis or Viagra that help with sexual vitality is free. Finasteride, all these medications for dermatology to help women become, you and your wife are on the same plan. Your kids are on the same plan. There's no extra people. That's the whole thing. Healthcare, people say, how do we do it so cheap? The reality is this is what healthcare should cost. If you keep all the big nosy people, the people who are adding all this cost to it, out of the system. So we want people to use it. We want people to use it. The cost of these drugs is really nominal. And that's why Optimal MD members can get it through us, simply because I knew how the healthcare system worked when I built it, which is why I built it to circumvent these barriers that are unnecessary.
Man, that's incredible. To the sports side, you've been a sports fan your whole life. You've been around sports. City of brotherly love, kind of a grow-up situation.
Yeah.
No Eagles, though. You were Flyers, right?
Yeah.
Sixers, obviously. So you love your Dr. J. I don't do the NBA anymore. I can't stand it. But love hockey. So you do the Flyers, you do some Sixers, you do little Phillies. And then you're a Chiefs fan. I mean, come on now. How does that happen? But you told me the story. It's pretty cool. I know it was a rough weekend for you as we record this. Mahomes goes out. No playoffs. I hope Mahomes gets back. He's an unbelievable player. Obviously, the Bills have been chasing those guys the whole time. 5 Super Bowl appearances, 3 rings. I still think they're the standard. Reed, Mahomes, Veach, they'll be back. They know how to draft. They're smart. They know what they're doing. Huge brand, unreal fan base. But you became a Chiefs fan. How?
Well, back in the very early days, the Hank Stram era, I was about 5 years old, and my uncle came to me and says, "Well, who's your favorite football team? Football season's starting. You got to have a favorite team."
Yeah.
And he was a Cowboys fan because he was from Dallas, and some of my friends were Eagles fans. Well, who are you going to root for? So he handed me a book from Sunoco gas stations that had all the teams back then. I think it was 28 teams or whatever, and I picked the Chiefs because of Elmo Wright. He was just somebody that stood out to me in the thing, no particular reason, but he was a fun player. He had a lot of flair. So I started becoming a Chiefs fan. So from 1969 up until 2018, when we drafted Mahomes, it was a long, hard slog. So I've earned my stripes to be a Chiefs fan because I rooted for all those really bad teams. But the last 8 years it's been fun. It's been amazing. I went to the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl with a bunch of Eagles fans. Interesting note about it. The suite we sat in was right next to the Mahomes suite. My wife left me during the Super Bowl to go party with Patrick Mahomes' mom.
Is that right? No kidding. Well, and they drafted Mahomes in 2017, and you're welcome because these guys handed you Patrick Mahomes with a stupid trade.
Well, gave you some draft picks.
Well, they traded. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But come on. And you know how it goes too, Shawn. I just did a video on this earlier praising my guy, Josh Allen, that, you know, a lot of the situation is you can do your part. You can be 50%. You can lead, you can grow, you can be better, a great teammate and this and that. But if you don't have the OC, you don't have the structure, you don't have the head coach. Mahomes in Buffalo would not have been Mahomes in Kansas City. He's had Andrew Reid. And that doesn't take away from Patrick Mahomes, just like it doesn't take away from Joe Montana that he had Rice, Taylor, Craig, Brent Jones, amazing offensive line, West Coast offense, Bill Walsh, one of the top 3 defenses every year, great ownership. It all has to come together, but the QB benefits as he should, and also the team benefits from the QB. It all has to come together. It doesn't take away from Mahomes. In fact, every bust I see in Canton, every QB that was elite who's in there has had help. That's why my dude Josh Allen needs more help.
Agreed, but I am the biggest Josh Allen fan. These Buffalo, Kansas City games over the last few years have been epic. Some of that is what keeps NFL so entertaining, and the NFL owes it to the games that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes put on. But Josh Allen's the right quarterback for Buffalo. He can carry this team just like Patrick doesn't during the hard times. So I am the biggest Bills fan there is for the rest of the playoffs because my heart goes out. The way they played us that one game, the AFC Championship game, I forget where we won. We came back with 13 seconds left. I know 13 seconds probably.
Interview over. No. Yeah, that was 13 seconds. But see, that's an interesting thing you bring up because you're like, Allen can carry the team. But how far can a guy carry the team when you have 13 seconds? Your defense doesn't get a couple stops. Like Mahomes has had Spagnuolo to get him the ball back a lot, right? Like he's a coordinator. They've had better coaching. He's had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in the big games. Like there's just that, you know, and Brett Veach is drafted to offense and he's been a better evaluator to get more help around Mahomes. So you can take a team far until you can't. And so we'll have to see what happens. But that's an interesting mix. You got the Flyer, Philly, Sixer, Chief thing from Philadelphia. And obviously you've been around Knoxville quite a bit with Tennessee and some sports fandom there as well too, right?
Oh, absolutely right. My daughter's a top varsity athlete. She's actually part of this. We're in the sports performance thing. She's a sophomore starting on varsity center back.
Cool.
She's it's the toughest position in soccer to play because you're on the ground as much as a middle linebacker. And we constantly keeping her body up the park, doing these things because these schools are the showcases, the schools she goes to. So sports performance, my wife is a former scholarship. She got a scholarship to play soccer in college, things like that. these are the things that, that drive our family. And soccer is a very grueling sport. I played football. I played professional softball. I played 10,000 softball games in my career, 10,000. Constantly coming back from that. You talk about wearing your body down, but I actually feel better now. I've never had surgery for anything. I've been able to heal almost every injury I've had using clinical services that are just not available you can't go to the hospital and say, hey, look, can you help me restore this muscle function? Can you help? Because surgery hospitals, as a hospital administrator, we can only make money if we poison you with some medication, if we burn you with radiation, and if we cut you open. Otherwise, we can't make money. We don't do massages. We don't do the therapies. And if it's not approved by the insurance company, you said you have insurance. My wife works for $1 billion company that specializes in benefits. We've got one of those fancy plans. None of that stuff is covered. Even if you have insurance, it doesn't pay for the things you want. They only cover illness. And if you use it, they will work against you. By the time you pay your deductible and you're out of pocket, that's why we eliminated that. We want people to get that care. If you wake up at night and you've got a UTI or you got the flu, you can still talk to a doctor. But if you have a healthcare plan, you want to get healthy. You want to feel good. Everybody wants to sleep better, have better sex, look better, poop better. We address those things. They're covered by the plan. We want you to, if you cover that, I don't know why that's not covered. It just is not. I don't know why.
Yeah. I have one more. I had one more, but now I have to sneak in a quick one. As you just described that, I think about Tom Brady with this stuff, right? Because dude plays forever, and he actually was on with Colin Cowherd last week when Philip Rivers was coming back at 44. Man, it was a little ugly with Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers has, 1,000 kids and like 2,000 grandkids. But he came back at 44, a couple little good moments for him, but then you could see like he's 44 and just chucked it at the end. It's like, man, you just came back for that to put the Hall of Fame on hold for 5 more years. I guess it's the love of the game, fine. And he's still in really good shape, but NFL shape, like really? But Tom Brady, and I know that, he got some calls in New England. It's not a Bills fan getting mad here at Brady, but, he didn't get his hit maybe as a Montana or somebody in the 80s and 90s, but he took his share of hits for sure. But he played longer than New England and went and won a Super Bowl in Tampa. And he played in his 40s.
And beat our Chiefs. So, I was there. Right.
Right. Yeah. But he looks better now than maybe that first he looks like a young boy winning the Super Bowl the first time, but it's a young boy. Look at him now as he's approaching 50, and he looks unbelievable. Like, I think of him when you're describing all this stuff about he's using the stuff that's non-forcible and non-ridiculous in the medical field. Am I making sense, right? Isn't that what this is all about?
So I was very familiar with Tom Brady did, right? And I followed Tom Brady's career. One of my clients, I'm going to arc this story because it's interesting.
Okay.
One of my clients was Dr. James Andrews. You might have heard his name. He's done everybody's knee, everybody's ankle, Brady's knee. He's getting older now, so he's no longer this. But if anybody that remembers him, so I would analyze his data for him, for everybody, all the people that paid him. James Andrews got paid not one penny more by insurance companies than any other doctor, including bad doctors. All doctors get paid the same based on their contracts. So exceptional doctors don't make any more money. So the way that Optimum MD does, I went and found the best doctors and we brought them into what it is we wanted to do because I pay them directly. They actually make more money from me than trying to beg the insurance company to get fair compensation. James Andrews made his money because sports team paid him cash, and that's how it worked.
That's right.
So I've been arcing all these other kinds of things. The things that Brady did for himself are the exact same things, the exact same science Optimum D is modeled behind. How do you get into these things? People don't know what autophagy is, which is how your body replenishes cells and removes the cells that are no longer functioning so that it becomes cellular waste in your body. And that's how athletes recover and reach a high level of performance. Methylation is how your body converts B vitamins into something that's more usable, that gives you more energy, cellular growth, mitochondrial function. These are the kinds of things that we work on. And you hear Brady talk about he gets in the cold tub because of cold shock proteins, things like that, hyperbaric chambers. Now, hyperbarics is not covered by Optimum D, but it's an extraordinary thing for athletes to do. But the things that are more on the nominal level, there are a lot of things you can get from us, peptides, very specific, high quality supplements that you get cheaper from us than you get from everybody else. And everybody should look at those things. Take methylated vitamins. There's no harm to be done. And what's most important, and I want athletes to know this, inside Optimal MD is an AI where you put in the supplements you take, you put in the blood work that you have, you put in what you eat, and it will put together a clinical plan for you and tell you, hey, these are the labs you might want to look at, whether you have, whether you want to work on your lung capacity, muscle strength. Do you have quick twitch muscle, slow twitch muscle? How do you optimize yourself for whatever position you play? If you're a center back, defensive end, what's your job? These are different strategies you would take medically to be able to improve your performance. It's not just the weight room. It's everything you do before you get in the weight room. And I want to say this about being an Eagles fan. Eagles and Chiefs, my team won the state, what was basically a state championship back in football back in the 70s. Okay. And then Dick Vermeil was the coach of the Eagles. He brought us down. He talked to us personally. I love that man. Love him. Went on to become the Chiefs later, but he wrote a book called Principles of a Champion. And I read that book and I modeled my life around that book. It changed me. He says a champion starts their day at everything you do, what time you go to bed, what you eat for breakfast, how you treat your friends, how you treat your body. Those kinds of things are what we should all do. But a lot of people just don't know. How would you know this stuff? They don't really teach it in school. They don't teach it in college unless maybe you're studying kinesiology. But now these things are available for you, and all that knowledge you need is right behind the door in the Optimal MD AI.
That's awesome. OptimalMD.com. Use the code MLSP to get started. I'm a vociferous reader. I do about 30 to 35 books a year, and I haven't read that one, and I need to read that one. I got to get through one now on Larry Bird at Indiana State. I got 2 in the drawer to my right, and then maybe I'll hop on that one. If I held you probably 8 to 10 minutes too long, but I've enjoyed this so much, and I want people to listen to this message with Optimal because what you're doing is so amazing. But can you give me a little Andre Reed nugget? I mean, come on. This is amazing. Just the acquaintance of an Andre Reed situation in college? Come on.
Again, completely unknown. I mean, I was just a freshman at Beck Hall at Kutztown. Back then it was Kutztown State College. It became Kutztown University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, man.
He was just on my little wing of the dorm and stuff like that. And we would hang out. Actually, we dated roommates. So we would have lunch together with him. And it's just, he had no idea who he was. I mean, he was just a guy. We'd play basketball together. Honestly, he was a better basketball player than he was a football player. He was unbelievable as an athlete. I just don't think he was super motivated. He was a quarterback at Allentown Allen, but you could see that incredible athleticism he had when he turned it on. And one weekend he returned 2 punts for touchdowns. I think it was against Clarion. And the scout showed up that week. The scout came with a whistle and a stopwatch and timed him one time. He ran the fastest 40 of his life when the money was on the line. And if that's not a precursor for how he showed up and played at Buffalo, because he was tough and he was mean. And when the money was on the line, that's the kind of player he is. And man, I love Mar Levy, also a former Chiefs coach, probably one of the smartest coaches in the NFL. I love the man.
100 years old, man.
I'm a Bills fan. Those sport, I rooted for the Bills all 4 games. My heart was broken. Josh Allen's going to get them there. Get them there while Patrick's down. If this is their window, jump on it. Because the same way my Rockets won when Michael Jordan decided he was going to take a break. I got 2 championships out of him.
Hey, you know what? And it's such a different sport too, right? Because it's a 1 game off. You can have a bad game or 2. You still got best of 7. Defense doesn't work for a couple games. It comes back. Football, hey, 2 quarters goes down, 3/4 of your team's blah. Again, how much can the quarterback do, right? Like it's a 1 game off, and you have a 13-second here. You have a DeMar Hamlin year there where their energy's toast by the end of it. You've got another one here. The Chiefs come into Buffalo and beat them. You've got last year's situation, but they're all 1 game. I mean, you play the Chiefs 4 or 5 games. It's not best of 7. It's 4 or 5 games. I mean, it's just such a different deal. This was absolutely amazing. I was looking forward to having you. You overachieved. You are a Patrick Mahomes. You've overachieved. In fact, Andre Reed, man, coming from that incredible story and that college going across the middle. Think about today's day and age, the way the penalties favor the offense. You can't touch anybody anymore. Andre Reed's going across the middle, pounded in the head, pounded in the chest, took him from Jim Kelly, extended the chains in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was tough as nails. That's a great Andre Reed story, man. Remember, 12 plus 83 equals 6. Remember that in Buffalo with the end zone touchdown points. But hey, this was amazing. OptimalMD.com is your website. Go there, read up, sign up. OptimalMD.com and use the code MLSP. That's short for ML Sports Platter. That's MLSP at OptimalMD.com. The CEO is right there in front of you, Shawn Fry. Hey, thanks for coming on. I want to have you back again. I could talk to you for hours, my man. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Mike. So glad to meet everybody. Take care.